very warm welcome to the Indian Diaspora podcast, where we spotlight extraordinary minds of Indian origin. I'm Ameya, your host for today. I'm very thrilled as we have Ambassador of India to the Netherlands, Her Excellency Reenat Sandhu, with us. She has held several key positions in the past, including Ambassador to Italy and San Marino. She was also part of several missions to Moscow, Kiev, Washington, D.C., Colombo, New York, and Geneva. She was the Deputy Permanent Representative to the World Trade Organization in Geneva. Other than that, she was the Minister of Commerce and later Deputy Chief of Mission at the Indian Embassy at Washington, D.C. She was the very first Additional Secretary to the new Oceania vertical of the Ministry of External Affairs. Also Secretary of West at New Delhi in India. I can go on, but join me as we welcome Mrs. Reenat Sandhu, and I'm sure her wealth of experiences and deep insights will enrich our conversation today. So, very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ameya. Pleasure to join you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, although I mentioned a few things, it would be really nice to listen to your journey in your words through your experience and probably until your appointment as ambassador to the Netherlands.
Oh, that's a very long journey covering 35 years in the Indian diplomatic service. As you mentioned, I have served in various capacities in different countries. And I think each of these assignments has been a learning experience which has helped to really broaden my horizons and help me to tackle each new challenge that was posed with greater confidence. So it has been a very fulfilling journey, a very satisfying career, and I've been really honored and privileged to serve my country. Now as ambassador in the Netherlands, and before that in all the other missions, as well as in the Ministry of External Affairs in India.
Wow, it's very inspiring. Thank you, ma'am. You've been in many roles, and you stayed in many countries. You had to really move homes and live in so many places. Was there a time when you felt, okay, I have to stay in this place, or I just have to stay in one place? It takes probably a toll on family, and then it's so many different things, right? How do you manage this? It's also in the scientific field or something. Many of us, like, one wants to do a postdoc, they move to another country and another country.
Yeah.
These are like some questions that many of us in the diaspora also face.
So, I think it becomes part of your diplomatic life. I think all our colleagues, we all learn to move, from one country to another, making that country your home, learning about the culture of that country. And after a time, I think we all start to enjoy that. Yes, there are challenges, especially for the family, for the children,
Right.
to move, from one country to another, or changing schools, etc.
Yeah.
But I feel probably in the long term they benefit from the exposure that they receive, and they also build very multicultural personalities, and their ability to cope and to be more open and be able to accept different viewpoints. So it's I think fortunately for me it was not that hard, because my husband was a former diplomat, so we were both diplomats, and we kind of followed the same career path.
Right.
And it's just part of the diplomatic life that you learn to, like you learn other things in life. This also becomes a part of life, that yes, it's a 3-year assignment, You know, need a few months to adjust and settle down, but then that country is like home to you, and then you know that you will finish, and then you move to another place, and you look forward to that experience of moving to a new country, and then being able to contribute to the relationship. So personal aspect is one, but you know, in every country you learn so much about the relationship of India with that country. Every country's relationship is unique, strengths are different. What can you do and what can you contribute to strengthen bilateral relations? So it's constantly a learning curve for all of us, and I think we all enjoy it.
You turned the whole thing into a positive situation. So very nice to hear. Thank you, ma'am. You were also ambassador of India to Italy before your position here. It must have been quite challenging there because it also coincided with the pandemic, and you probably had to, manage a group of people who have never seen such a, at least in our couple of generations, we haven't seen such a thing happening. So everything was a first for a lot of things. How did you manage the show? How was it?
You're right. It was a very challenging time. It was something completely new for all of us. And we were just trying to make sense of something. There was a lot of panic among the community, understandably. There were a large number of students, very big diaspora that works there. And so I think at such times of crisis, automatically you realize the importance of the Indian embassy being there as you know as a home away from home for the Indian community, and we knew we had to step in to support the community and give it our best. And I must say that I had a very good and enthusiastic team. They all worked tirelessly without any fear, because people were really scared at the time. There were lockdowns, very strict lockdowns, but despite that, everyone was working 24/7, helping our Indian community return back safely. And each time a flight left, we all felt so happy and grateful that this was happening. So, I mean, if I have to enlist everything, it would take a very long time because it was around the first 6 months of the pandemic, which was the most difficult time. And I think it was a very unique experience. But I'm grateful that we all came out of it well, and the kind of connect that we could build with the community through various channels was extremely important. We realized, we could use social media, we could use our community in different parts of Italy who were so willing to come forward and help each other. And that really showed, the strength of the community on how we all could come together in a time of such emergency. So I think I would say that it was a team effort. And I'm happy that everything went off safely, and people could go back home safely as well, and reunite with their families.
It's very nice to hear. Thank you for being open about many aspects of this. Must have been quite very difficult. So for the common NRI, for the common member of the diaspora, when we talk about an embassy, the first thing that comes to mind is probably extending their passport or getting an OCI card, or things like these consular services. But then can you explain to us the role of an embassy and an ambassador? I'm sure there's so many things you do, but it's not very commonly known or spoken about. So nice to hear.
Well, the embassy in any country around the world is the diplomatic representation of the home country in a foreign country. So we are a point of contact for the host country as well, for the host government. And the main, I would say, responsibility of the embassy is to strengthen bilateral relations between India and the country wherever we are based, in this
Mhm.
case, the Netherlands. And there are different aspects of our diplomatic work, which includes diplomatic, political, strategic, economic, cultural, community affairs, education. So it's a very diverse range of activities that we engage in. A lot of it includes outreach to
Mhm.
different stakeholders who are important for strengthening our bilateral ties. So it's a very, I would say, rich agenda.
Mhm.
And the important thing is for the embassy to look at the strengths of the host country where we are based,
Mhm.
and look at potential areas of cooperation. What are the complementarities with India, where we can work together to enhance the interests of India, but also strengthen the ties
Mhm.
between India and the country where we are based.
Very clear, man. Thank you. So, what are the most common grievances that probably the community, the Indian community here, that approach the embassy with, or with you with?
Well, if I was to take the current context of Netherlands,
Mhm.
I would say that first of all, it makes me very happy to see such a vibrant and successful Indian community in the Netherlands.
Mhm.
It's really heartening to see wherever I travel to any part of Netherlands. I do meet a lot of the Indian community who are engaged in different walks of life, in
Mhm.
academics, in business, in cultural activities. And it's, they are generally all very happy with, their life here, their
Uh-huh.
careers here. So I don't hear many complaints to
Okay.
start with. They are just, you know, representing India here so well, and
Yeah.
that makes me very proud. They do ask for, possibly having more access to the visa consular services that you
Mhm.
mentioned. And for that, one of the initiatives that we have started is holding consular camps in different cities so
Wow.
that the embassy can come to your doorstep.
Wow.
We have
Mhm.
done that very successfully with Eindhoven, where there is a growing presence of the community. All every once every month, I think the embassy team is going there, and we've got very good response of people coming for various types of consular services.
Mhm.
And now we are expanding this outreach to other cities as well in the coming months. We'll be going to Groningen and a
Mhm.
few other cities. We've done it in Almere as well. And what we do tell the community that we are always happy to come to you if
Mhm.
you would like, and if you are able to host
Yeah.
the embassy in your town, and there are a certain number of reasonable number of people who are there who would like
Mhm.
to get certain services like
Yeah.
renewal of passports, OCIs, miscellaneous services. We are happy to come there and provide such services. So the community has, on the whole, been, in fact, on the other hand, more enthusiastic to ask how they can, be supportive
Yeah.
in the activities of the embassy, as well as contribute to the growth of India, let's say.
Absolutely.
So I would say that it has been a very very nice, experience of
Mhm.
working with the community here.
Wow, that's very interesting. I can't wait to dive deeper into these topics. So, uh, like you said, the community is so big, and it's probably one of the it's the largest Indian community in Europe, the one in Netherlands. So, uh, what how was your experience interacting with them, or do you have any memorable I don't know anecdotes or something you want to say?
Um, what has really impressed me
Mhm.
about the community is how it is growing, but
Mhm.
at the same time, how they are connecting,
Yeah.
with the cities or the local communities where they are
Mm.
staying. And they are, very positive contributors to the local society wherever they are.
Mhm.
They are, on the whole, very law abiding.
Mm.
They always want to contribute positively to the local society, to the schools where their children are going. They are organizing regularly Indian festivals, which I have had the privilege of attending. Some of them I've been invited. I get invited to a lot of events. I try to
I'm
do
sure.
my best to attend all. But where I'm not able to, I have a good team here at the embassy, and our
Mhm.
other officers have also been carrying out outreach so that we remain directly connected with the community. That has been our effort. What I have seen is now the community has grown so much that every festival is celebrated in multiple cities. It's nice to see that you have, let's say, Durga Puja being celebrated in 8 places, or Onam similarly
Yeah.
in 8 or 10 cities, which shows how the community is growing, but also how they are, celebrating Indian culture, Indian diversity, uh, and bringing their culture to Netherlands and showcasing India
Yeah.
to their Dutch friends as well. I often say that our community is our cultural, ambassador here, because they are the ones who are really showcasing brand India and building that image of India abroad.
Yeah.
And from that point of view, I must say that the community here in Netherlands is doing a great job.
Very nice to hear that we're
Yeah,
part of it. So
absolutely.
that yeah, you mentioned the community is growing as well, right? So the link between like the community and the how can it be strengthened in a sense? Do you see any gaps or some places where we can put a bit more effort and
Mhm. Good question, because that is our effort also.
uh-huh.
Um I'm saying that we are, trying to increase our outreach, or we have good connections, but there is a lot more that can be done.
Mhm.
Whenever I meet the community, I always say, please, stay connected with the embassy. In today's times of social media, and where there is so much information available, the embassy is regularly organizing a lot of events, but we put information about these events on our social media handles, and we would like more and more participation of the community in these programs, because the more we meet, the more we interact, the greater the network will be.
Yeah.
So what I would request the community is to, follow us on social media, to try and participate in as many programs as possible. And the embassy is always open to suggestions. So if there are some ideas or suggestions on how we can enhance our outreach further, we are always open
Perfect.
and willing to do that. We have an excellent team of officers here. They are also traveling across Netherlands. So they would be happy to also come if I am unable to. We
Mhm.
have a team that is ready to reach out. We
Great.
have an Indian cultural center here, which is quite unique. You
Great.
don't have cultural centers in all countries.
Mhm.
It's only very few selected countries that have. So please take advantage of the opportunities that the culture center extends.
Yeah.
Their team can also travel to other cities
Yeah.
to give performances, to do yoga sessions.
Yeah.
So there are a number of opportunities, and I think the more the community connects, the more it will be possible to identify which are the areas where we can work together in.
Very clear. Thank you. So we'll put up the links to the websites of the embassy and stuff below in the description. So you can always reach out to the embassy or the ambassador. Like they said, they're always open to help you guys. Moving on from there, what are the key areas of cooperation between the Netherlands and India that probably took off or improved during your term as ambassador here?
So, as far as the India Netherlands relationship is concerned, it's a very multifaceted and diverse agenda of cooperation that we have, which covers a number of sectors. But we have identified a few key priority sectors that includes water, in which Netherlands has very advanced expertise and experience of water management. We have a very robust partnership in the area of water, where Netherlands is working with India on flood management, cleaning of the rivers, wastewater treatment, etc. The second priority sector is agriculture, where again Netherlands, even though it's a small country, they are extremely important in agriculture, so especially sustainable farming.
Yeah.
And so we are sharing a lot of knowledge and best practices through centers of excellence that are being set up in India with Dutch expertise. The third sector is healthcare. There too, we have several ongoing projects, primarily in the area of research, like cancer research or antimicrobial resistance. We have a very robust cooperation in the area of science and technology. Several scientific institutes are partnering and collaborating with each other in carrying out joint research. We have collaboration also at the university to university level. There are educational exchange programs between some of the Dutch universities and Indian counterparts. We are now looking at new areas of partnership, like digital technologies, semiconductors, AI, quantum, etc. But also in the area of climate change, green hydrogen, where Netherlands is doing very pioneering work.
Yeah.
India is hoping to have a good partnership going forward. We have very good partnership in the maritime sector, very strong trade and investment. Bilaterally, Netherlands is our largest export destination in all of EU,
Wow.
and one of our largest trade partners as well. But also, if you look at investments, Dutch investments in India, Netherlands is the fourth largest investor in India, with investments of more than $46 billion in the last 25 years. And many Dutch companies are present and doing business in India. Similarly, we have a large presence of Indian companies, as you know, in the IT sector, but also in manufacturing, and investments from India have also in no way been small. We have investments of more than 24 billion here. So overall, it's a very good partnership, a very valuable partnership, I would say, which has a very bright future. I would also like to add, going forward, we can see this partnership becoming more relevant, more important, and stronger.
Thank you. That's a very clear answer. I would like to pick up your the term that you said, a bright future. Well, saying that we're all working towards making India a developed nation, and probably
Yeah.
we're talking about 2047 or 2050 by the time our 100th republic, 100th Independence Day happens.
Yeah.
So 100 years of independence. In this regard, how can the diaspora contribute towards this effort? Or like a lot of us are eager to do something, but in terms of probably economic growth or innovation, or it's a free ball.
Yeah. India has always attached a lot of importance to the Indian diaspora abroad and the contribution that they are making to India. Over the years, they have been a very valuable asset, I would say, in terms of contributing to many sectors of India's growth, whether you look at green revolution, or how agriculture has grown, how industry has grown. Many of the initiatives were supported by Indian diaspora abroad. Going forward in the next 25 years, I think the Indian diaspora abroad can be really a very important partner for India, because the world is moving so fast technologically. And India has benefited immensely in the last few years from digital transformation. But I think the changes are going to be manifold in the coming times. And we see that we have so many Indian academics, Indian researchers, students studying abroad who are really working in cutting edge technologies and very advanced research areas.
Yeah.
So they can surely, contribute to India's growth by sharing, their knowledge and mentoring, let's say, students or partnering with some of the universities in India. At the same time, we have very successful Indian businesses abroad who can also contribute through their entrepreneurship and investments. Culturally, also, the community can, build better awareness about India abroad, and tell, the wherever they are based in those countries about what is the spirit of India, the diversity that is there, the strengths of India and Indian economy. Sometimes we feel that awareness is a bit lacking, and there I think the community can play a very important role in informing their friends and the local interlocutors and stakeholders about what's happening in India. They can also help to promote tourism. Our Prime Minister has spoken a lot about, the Chalo India campaign, for example, and how the community can encourage their friends, non-Indian friends, to travel to India, because the first-hand experience of India will tell them a lot about what Indian culture and Indian tradition and what India stands for. So there are a whole lot of areas where the Indian community is doing very well, and they have, been very successful in different, very diverse fields. They can surely, see how they can help India, guide India, or even, provide some inputs or feedback which can be helpful in our future growth story.
Thank you. That's inspiring. It's a whole many dimensions.
The slate is endless, actually. So you pick any field and the community can play a role, I feel.
It's, it's fine. Are, are there examples to probably something like this where the Indian diaspora has made notable contributions to bilateral relations, probably between the host country and India? It need not be just Netherlands, maybe from Italy or here or your time in the US. Just
I think it's hard to pick a few
Mm-hmm.
examples, one or two examples. It would be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing I would say about the Indian diaspora is that wherever, whatever field they may be in, or they may be leading, the one of the world's biggest companies,
Mm-hmm.
or multilateral institutions. They have always remained connected to India and thought about India and think about India, and
Yeah.
in what way can India progress, or what can they do
Yeah.
to support connections.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that I don't want to name people because there will be too many to
Yeah.
name,
Yeah.
and I'm sure a lot would come to your mind as well. But if you look in the area of science, in space, in entrepreneurship, many areas where the Indian diaspora has come forward to help, and among the younger generation, I would say the enthusiasm is even more in
Absolutely.
terms of actually leaving, their professions and coming back to
Yeah.
India,
Yeah.
and going and helping simply their village or their local town in
Yeah.
some things that they think they have picked up and
Yeah.
India could benefit from. So I
Right.
think we are very fortunate to have
Absolutely.
such a diverse and successful community abroad.
Right. So since we spoke about the diaspora doing something towards these developmental goals, if you look at probably the other side of the coin, how can with probably initiatives or strategies
Mm-hmm.
from governments or other organizations or connected organizations, what can these do to probably harness the potential of the diaspora towards this?
Right. So actually, the government of India has taken many initiatives to
Mm-hmm.
engage with the Indian diaspora,
Right.
including, building strategies and plans for, let's say, India's technological development and growth over the next 25 years. What are the
Okay.
directions that India should be looking at?
Mm-hmm.
And we are engaging with, Indian origin scientists abroad, for
Wow.
instance, or community or academics, to gather from them which are the futuristic areas they think,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which can benefit India's growth, or which direction should India be taking.
Right.
So we have a program for that. Similarly, we have some scholarship programs for the diaspora youth to come back to India, to be connected with their roots.
Yeah.
We have familiarization programs with the Indian community.
Yeah.
There are a whole number of schemes. I may not remember all offhand because they all have names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we do have diaspora focused programs. In fact, in the Ministry of External Affairs, we have a special division called the Diaspora Engagement Division. So that shows you how much importance we give
Yeah.
to engagement with community abroad. And I think every state of India which has a large community residing abroad, they all have departments looking after
Mm-hmm.
NRI affairs and so on. So a lot of work is going into,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, leveraging the strength of the Indian community abroad.
Very nice to hear. Very nice to hear. Again, a lot of things that can come out. I'm sure readers will be interested to, check out a lot of these, especially the directorate and websites of these things. That will be interesting. We'll put up a few of these specific things from the government as well. So, uh, you spoke about some initiatives and these things. Do you think during your time you probably there were some initiatives or some events that you would want to have accomplished, but then no, because of some circumstances or something that weren't possible. It could also be something for the future, right? Scope.
I think going forward, we can scale up on a lot of things. I was fortunate that when I arrived, we were just past COVID and everything had opened up, and everyone just wanted to engage
Yeah.
and participate and organize things. So uh, fortunately, the last 2 years have been very, very active. Also, because last year India hosted a very successful G20
Right.
presidency in India, and we had invited Netherlands as a guest country. And that also underlines the importance of our bilateral relationship with the Netherlands, because Netherlands was amongst the 9 invited countries.
Very nice to hear.
So their presence in India meant that they were participating very actively in more than 200 meetings that took place in India across different cities and parts of India. Several delegations went to India, including at the minister level. So we had a whole lot of visits at the minister level taking place last year. And Prime Minister Rutte was in India for the G20 summit in October. September. But then, as part of our G20 presidency, which focused a lot on sustainability, we did a number of programs here, like we did the beach cleanup drive, Mission Life, which is an important initiative. Of our Prime Minister, which is to bring about changes in your lifestyles to tackle the problem of climate change and how you can live more sustainably and make some changes in your habits.
Yeah.
So we've done events around Mission Life, around promoting millets, which again is an initiative of India but adopted by the UN. And last year we celebrated the International Year of Millets, so that more and more people are aware of the benefits of both environmental and health benefits of millets. So, as India is evolving, growing, we are taking leadership in a number of fields globally also. You see, in the area of climate change, several initiatives have been taken by India. And those are not only restricted to India, I would say, because whenever we take up a program, it also means that our embassies abroad are also working on those and spreading awareness on those programs, working with the host governments here, telling them about what are India's priorities and what we are doing and how we can collaborate and partner with them in those areas. So I would say yes, a lot needs to be done, and it's always an incremental process, an ongoing or a work in progress where I hope that going forward, whatever foundations are there over the years, we will see more and more collaboration and growing partnership between India and Netherlands.
It's also very, very nice to hear that it's quite challenging, but then so much effort is being put in from many fronts. And as diaspora, we should also try to spread awareness, and we should take the baton from you somewhere. What would be probably the most or one of the most memorable experiences for you as an ambassador or in the foreign services so far?
Foreign service so far would be very hard to say, because as I said, it's been a very long journey. But yes, in Netherlands, I would say the most memorable was my arrival here, and within 3 weeks of arriving here, we had the state visit of the President of India
Wow.
to the Netherlands.
Mhm.
He was hosted by His Majesty King Willem and Her Majesty the Queen in Amsterdam. And so to come here, and it was a crash course on India-Netherlands relations, and also the kind of the warm welcome that the president and the entire delegation received from the Netherlands was just so overwhelming and so nice that I felt, this was the perfect welcome to be here. And from there on, it has just been up, 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 and it has been a great experience working in the Netherlands.
Lovely. I'm glad that you like the environment here and how things went for you in the Netherlands. Very happy as
Yeah,
diaspora here.
yeah.
So, as you're preparing to conclude your term as ambassador, and, do you have a message for the diaspora here, and you know, anything from your experience or insights, or something that you'd like to tell the whole diaspora? Or something?
Yeah, well, the what I would just like to say to them is that they are doing extremely well, but it's also at the same time important to integrate into the society where they have made their home.
Yeah.
So it's equally important to give back
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
society in whatever way they can,
Yeah.
to learn the local language, because that will make them happier and also more accepted.
Yeah.
So learning the language here is very useful and important to feel at home,
Yeah.
and also continue doing the good work that they are doing, because really that is just in itself a very important contribution to strengthening India-Netherlands relations, because they are really an important bridge between our countries, and we greatly appreciate what they are doing.
Thank you. That was very, very positive, and yeah, I hope we keep doing good work here. Uh, Before I conclude, is there anything that you wish I had asked you, or is there something you wanted to say?
No, I think you've covered everything. I can't think of anything that we are missing. I'm sure the Indian community is at this moment feeling very proud of the achievements back home in India, and they can talk about India with their head held high. Because wherever you go, I'm sure it's very impactful to say that you come from India, which is such a strong democracy, the world's largest democracy, and do take pride in what is happening in India, and tell your Dutch friends about India's achievements as such a diverse country where there is so much different uh, mm, traditions, languages, cuisine, attire, faiths, and people have been living together in this democratic country. So it's important that the message of India, um, traditionally what India has been, because our philosophy has always been, as we say, Vasudev Kutumbakam, where we treat the whole world as one family. And we have always been very welcoming and accepting of all cultures. So that is the ethos and spirit of India, and that is how we are also looking at our growth in the next 25 years. where we feel that India can make a positive contribution to the global growth, because India is today the largest, most populous country, but also a very young country, very aspirational country. So we have a very large youth population which can help to drive global growth and contribute in a positive way.
Yeah.
So I feel that this is the message of India that needs to be taken forward. So please do stay connected with the developments that are happening in India. Last year, wherever I went, I got even to the Caribbeans. People were so proud to talk about the fact that India has landed on the moon, our community. So, you may be sitting in the remotest part of the world, but still you feel proud that India has landed on the moon. So I think these are some positive things that we can all, talk about and take pride about, but at the same time, build a positive image and narrative about India.
Thank you. I personally learned a lot from our conversation. I try to stay in touch with a lot of things that you mentioned, but then there were many specific things that I'm going to take away from our conversation, and I'm sure the audience would also, they learned a lot from this. Thank you for all the work that you've done in all the bilateral relations and in every every role that you've played in all of these decades. So it's thank you very much for your time and the conversation.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Great to talk to you.
Thank you. Dear viewers, thanks for tuning in to this podcast. And please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for much more content from the diaspora. Thank you.